Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Tuesday afternoon. Wanted to hop on early. I said I was going to come on at 4 o'clock, but I did want to hop on early because the thunderstorms that we've been expecting have developed in some areas, and we do have a tornado warning up for the area highlighted in this red polygon that you have here. So it's east of Loma Rica, just north of Lake Wildwood, including areas like Nevada City and Grass Valley. If I click on this, I'll give you the details. So this goes on for another 40 minutes. So let me scoot this over a little bit and try that one more time. And here we go. Tornado warning. So it was issued at 2:24, and as I'm going live here, this is 2:34. So this is up until 3:15. So it says a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Timbuktu, or 14 miles west of Grass Valley, moving to the east at 15 miles an hour. It says radar indicated rotation. So that's one of the keys here, is that on the radar, and I'll show you more on that here in just a second, they are radar indicated. So on the source here, it can either be radar indicated or someone has seen one. So right now, no one has seen one, but the source they're using is radar indicated rotation. So the impact from that would be flying debris that could be dangerous. Now, often in a case like this, you can see a tornado that would produce flying debris. Things like you can see fences come down, you can see tree limbs come down, you can even see roof tiles come off. We've seen that quite often around here. So damage to roofs, windows, vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This is a dangerous storm. It'll be near Lake Wildwood around 2:40. So in other words, right around now, it's near Lake Wildwood right in here. Where was I? And Dobbins around 2:55. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Loma Rica, Nevada City, and Penn Valley. So what they're urging you to do is to take cover. So here you have the regular reflectivity, but on this screen for you here, I'm going to move it this way and then move it this way. There we go. This is where we indicate the rotation, and it's basically this area right in here. Let me do this. So, for instance, over here you have the wind moving in one direction, minus 6.7 miles an hour, and in this area it's 33 miles an hour, and these are going in two different directions. So that's the rotation that they are looking at. And this, let me zoom in on this a little bit more on the reflectivity side. This would also likely have some hail with it as well. And so here's Lake Wildwood right in here. Let me scooch off of that. So here's Lake Wildwood here. There's Loma Rica. So it's in this area in between. So it's north of Penn Valley. They mentioned Penn Valley. And here is Grass Valley and Nevada City. So for those of you in Nevada City and Grass Valley that perhaps have a tornado warning going up on your cell phone, it looks as though this is a little bit farther to your north, but still I would urge those of you in Grass Valley to take shelter and let this thing go away. Now, for those of you a little farther south in a place like Alta Sierra and toward Colfax and Auburn, Lake of the Pines, all those areas to the south of here, this wouldn't include you at this time. But it is in this area that's to the north, to the east of Loma Rica. So again, Loma Rica was mentioned, but it is this cell that is east of Loma Rica and just getting ready to cross the county line that does have Doppler indicated rotation with that. And so what they mean here is this area of green right in here, and all of this area here is going in this direction, and this area is going in this direction. This line that you see here is the radar-derived track. It may be moving a little bit more easterly than that. Let me go back to just this view of it, and I'm going to widen out a little bit. And then I'm going to animate this for you, so you get a better idea of the rotation and the movement here. Now, these things are likely going to be pulsing throughout the afternoon. And by that, I mean that while we have this tornado warning in effect, we will likely see this cell itself dissipate in a little while, but others behind it and to the south of it and other areas are likely to be developing because the atmosphere is ripe for all of that. Let me stop this and show you the other thing that's going on here. Let me widen out a little bit more. Whoop. Widen, widen, widen. See this area highlighted in blue? If I click on this, this is a convective discussion. Let me click on that to show you what they are talking about here. So this goes in. This is into effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So it says summary. A couple of stronger thunderstorms may exhibit low-level rotation. A brief tornado or strong wind gust is possible. So to get a little geeky on you, we'll read the full discussion here. Channeled southeasterly winds within the valley have allowed very modest low-level SRH, storm relative helicity, to develop. With a shortwave trough passing through over the area, a couple of thunderstorms have developed this afternoon. Very weak low-level rotation was noted in a storm on KDAX. That's the Davis radar that you're looking at. Velocity data, I showed you that. Given weak buoyancy, storms are not expected to be overly strong or long-lasting. The wind profile may allow for marginally organized convection, kind of what we're seeing today. A brief tornado or strong wind gust is possible. So SRH, let me get you the definition on SRH. So storm relative helicity. So what that means is that it's a measure of the potential for cyclonic updraft rotation. And that's likely what we have going on right in here. While I'm here, and we're going to monitor this tornado warning, we do have other cells to talk about. But all of these boxes are for special weather statements, like this one near Elk Grove, this one north of Stockton. So where's that? Let's see. Come on. Come on. Yeah, it's tough for me to tell sometimes the difference between the outline for a special weather statement like we often get here versus a severe thunderstorm warning. The colors are very alike, but as you can clearly see, the red boxes pop out rather well. And then there is this cell as well, which is also pretty nasty, which also has a special weather statement for hail up to 1/4 of an inch. The reason that we're likely not going to see a severe thunderstorm warning this afternoon is because of the hail size. We need 1-inch hail, either observed or measured on radar in order to get a severe thunderstorm warning. But, for me, while this may not meet the guidelines the National Weather Service has set out, to me, if you're in Northern California and you have a cell like this with thunder and lightning and hail and a heavy downpour, that's a severe thunderstorm for Northern California. All right, let's go back to this. So here, once again, we have our warned storm, and I'll go back to the velocity data here. And let me zoom in on this a little bit more. And once again, so we have rotation derived here on the radar. So we have motion in this direction and motion in this direction. And I'm going to call up another computer so I can look at some other data here. Oh, there's my mouse. I just want to see if there has been anything in the way of a storm report. So let's see the products here. Special weather statement, tornado warning. No, we haven't had any reports of a tornado as of yet. So that's why I say this tornado warning is derived by the radar from this rotation that you can see here. And let's go back to this. So once again, for those of you near Lake Wildwood, you should be taking this one pretty seriously while it's just on the north side of where you are. It is, the radar could be off by just a little bit because of the angle of the radar and the distance from the radar that this is. So for those of you that are, let's say, near Lake Wildwood and to the north, certainly you got to keep this in mind. So let's say people in Oregon House, yeah. Collins Lake is right in here. Oregon House is right in here. And then my friends in Mooney Flat were down in here. But yeah, Lake Wildwood, obviously right here. And so this goes just kind of right along the South Yuba River, which is right in here. And that's where we're seeing the strongest rotation, right near the county line. So this is near, this is basically right over the river where we're seeing the strongest rotation that we're seeing right here. If you're just joining, let me go back to this, and if I highlight this, tornado warning. So this is up for another half hour. So we have this tornado warning. It always does that when I move it. It's very finicky. Here we go. So the tornado warning is up until 3:15. So that gives us another half hour on this. And again, this is radar indicated rotation, as I've been showing you. And this is actually looking pretty good. This is looking better than some rotation that we had a couple of weeks ago, or maybe that was just a week ago. I forget sometimes. But let me do another investigation on this. So what you see here, and now these numbers aren't going to be very big, but what's important is the direction. So you see that as I scroll over this, you can see it says minus 7.8. So that means it's coming at the radar at about 8 miles an hour. And that was just a nice crack of thunder here at the home weather office. And then on the other side, though, it's 40 miles an hour away from the radar. So that's the sort of thing you look at, and that's what Doppler radar is so good at. And right here, you can see that these two pixels that are very close to each other, right here, this pixel's minus 7, this one's plus 44. Gives you a differential of 51 miles an hour. So that is certainly capable of producing a tornado. Now, do keep in mind, though, that what the radar is seeing here is elevated, because this is being detected from the Davis radar, and it just got updated again here. Yeah, this is really good rotation. This is a really good warning. Yeah, and so this is very near the county line, so we're right over the South Yuba River, and so this is just north of Lake Wildwood, which is right here. But again, this isn't too far from Oregon House, and let's see. It's also east of Browns Valley. I'm looking at a map to kind of make sure I get more locations in here. For those of you in Rough and Ready, this is a little bit off to your north and west. And for those of you in Grass Valley and Nevada City that also perhaps have been getting this warning, this currently is off to your north and west, but I would encourage you to stay safe, because this is really good rotation. And as you just saw, we have, from that discussion that I showed you, we have all the right conditions, atmospherically speaking, to give you the rotation. So yeah, actually the rotation's getting a little bit stronger here. We're up around 50 miles an hour in one direction and about minus 11 in the other. So that's really good rotation right in here. Let's see. Let's see if anybody's in the chat. Hang on one second. Let me check on a couple of things here. Just going to check on one or two things for you here. Let me get back to the radar. And there we go. Okay, I've called up on another computer the chat session here, so I can see it on a different computer. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going through what all of you guys are saying. I'm curious to see if there's anybody. Yes, Chili Pepper. This is close to Oregon House. Yes. Rebecca said not even thunder in Rockland. Well, that just goes to show you that everybody's going to be seeing something a little bit different this afternoon. But boy, I'll tell you, this is really good rotation for Northern California. 50 miles an hour in one direction and 15 in the other direction. So yes, we clearly have rotation in this cell. And here's the reflectivity of it. And you can kind of see that if you kind of look, you get that notched sort of pattern here. We have the strongest echoes in here, which likely are producing hail in here. But this is just north of Lake Wildwood, pretty close to the South Yuba River State Park, if you're familiar with that area. Yeah, Pleasant Valley Road. Yeah, all of these areas, Birchville. Yeah. So I would place this to the south of Collins Lake and to the north of Lake Wildwood. But for those of you in Lake Wildwood, this is really close to you. Even though it looks like you're clear in here, this is the area where we could clearly have a tornado going on. I'd be really curious to see if anybody... oh, hey, Tomas is here from Loma Rica. Watching it hail very hard. Wind picked up. Tomas, thank you very much. Silver says, I'm in Grass Valley, nothing going on so far. Yep. What makes the wind go in different directions? Well, it's a rotating updraft. So in other words, as the air is being drawn into this thunderstorm, the updraft starts rotating. So you have this low-level shear because the wind changes direction with height. So in other words, at the surface, you may have the winds coming out of the south, but just a couple thousand feet off the surface, you may have winds from the west. So you're going to get winds turning with height, and so you get this this rotation that goes on, and then it can get funneled down into the surface. But this certainly looks like some really good rotation in here. And again, this current warning is in effect until 3:15, and right now we're at 2:51 as I'm live here. So yeah, once again, strong on this side and relatively weak, but from a different direction on the other side, and these are very, very close together. So for those of you in Lake Wildwood, I think that's the most heavily populated area that we're looking at here with this. So yeah, in Nevada City and Grass Valley, if you had your phones give you an alert, if you had an EAS alert, you are in this warning. And I'm not going to give you an all clear at this point, but for the next couple of minutes anyway, this is off to your north. I'm more concerned about these areas that are near and just to the north of Lake Wildwood, where we do have the best rotation. And this line that you see here, that's the county line, and that's where the river is. So you can get the idea of what we're talking about here. And again, I think this is just a little bit south of Collins Lake. Unfortunately, the mapping that goes with this radar that I use isn't the best, but you can get the idea. And again, so I've got two screens here. So we've got the velocity mode on here, and then on this side we've got the reflectivity. Which you can do with radar scope. Actually, I could put up 4 screens, but I think that would just confuse things at this point. Let's see. Trudy says, nothing in East Roseville, really, just some dark clouds. Russell says, no lightning in Lake County just yet. Laura, hey, thank you very much, says, please hit the like button to help spread this channel and the helpful info. Yes, thank you. And you know what? And I never even say this. Hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have a ton more subscribers. So Silver says, I got the EAS alert in Grass Valley. Perfect, which is why I am here. So you get a tornado warning, and my intention here is to be a resource for you. so that, and this is what I would have done if I was on TV. I would have been running into the studio and standing in front of a monitor and going through this with you. However, it's somewhat easier here at home, not having to deal with television stuff. So yeah, so here's once again. Also on TV, I couldn't be interactive. I mean, I'm looking at comments from you guys. Chili Pepper says Dobbins just received the warning. So Josie says there's no thunder and lightning in Loma Rica, just heavy rain. So yeah, let me slide over again this way. And let me widen out a little bit. Yeah, this was a cell that went over Loma Rica, so now you're on the back side of it, if you will. Let me just slide this over just a smidgen. So we have the rain in Loma Rica, but now we have the thunderstorm with the rotation is off to your east in Loma Rica. So Loma Rica, in terms of the tornado warning, I'll give you the all clear. Hang on. I just got a note from a friend. And hang on a second. All right, sorry about that. Getting messages from folks trying to hear more about what's going on. Linda said, had tornado warning here in Kelly Ridge. I'm reading comments right now. So Ketchup Mustard Mayo says, seems like it's already lessening up in Oregon House. No more thunder and lightning. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like it may be moving a little bit to your east. Right now we have the, let me move this over here. Yeah. Right now we have the best rotation just north of Lake Wildwood. It's still pretty good, although maybe not as good as it was a few frames ago. But we still have wind going in one direction this way and wind going this way in the other direction. So this is a, relatively speaking, this is sparsely populated right where the rotation is, because it's, it's some pretty gnarly terrain down here in the river. But there are a lot of you from Penn Valley and Nevada City and Lake Wildwood that are getting this EAS alert. So that's why I wanted to come on and give you this update. All right, I'm going to get off of this, and then I'm going to widen out a little bit, because this isn't the only thunderstorm we have going on. I want to see what else is happening. All right, we still have this big one that's going on just to the east of Red Bluff. I mean, that one's a big-time hailer. And then we have more of these special weather statements that come out. Let me zoom in here. So we have these downpours that are east of Stockton that may be containing some hail. This one, east of Modesto, that's likely a hailer. But we are not getting anything in the way of rotation. It's not Doppler indicated anyway. So yeah, sometimes we get focused on one cell and forget to look around. But many of you are seeing downpours out there, and the atmosphere is ripe for these as we go through the afternoon and into the early evening hours. I think the atmosphere is going to be right for these all the way up until about 7 o'clock this evening. All right, so what time we at? We're at 2:58, and this warning is up until 3:15. It is not looking as organized as it was. Let me go back to the velocity data as well. Come on, velocity data. This just isn't looking as good as it was, but there is still rotation in here. And as I mentioned earlier, what we're going to see, and what we do see with these, is the activity pulses. So in other words, you see the thunderstorm develop, and then it dissipates, and then it pulses up, and then it dissipates. So here's our storm relative velocity, and once again, you can see here, the green is on one side, and the red's on the other. So you have winds going in this direction, and then winds going in this direction. So clearly in here, north of Lake Wildwood and right over the river, we have a rotation going on in that part. Let me zoom this over a little bit. So we have rotation going on here. So here's Lake Wildwood. That white line right there is where the river is. So this is where you're seeing the best rotation, and that corresponds here to this area. So this also looks as though it could be rain wrapped. So it may be very hard to see. And again, it's very hilly terrain here down in the steep canyon of the river. Basically along, yeah, it's just right over the river, basically kind of over the state park there. It looks like it's moving more or less dewy, so it may follow the river. So for those of you along the South Yuba River, yeah, keep a heads up. All right, I'm going to go back to can you look at the Bar 2 Ranch camera from alert? Okay. I need a third computer for that. It's a good thing I have 3 computers in here. Another thing I wouldn't be able to do if I was on TV, but then again, I'd also have producers helping me out. California cameras. Okay, so it was the Bar Ranch 2. Go on. Why isn't that working? Hang on. I'll be there in a minute. Huh. For some reason, they're not working on that computer. Got to go to a different computer. Technology sometimes just does not help. California. Okay, this is better. Ooh. Bar Ranch 1. Oh yeah, I'm looking at Bar Ranch 1. You can see some rotation in it there. Yeah, I think what you're, well, yeah, that's certainly looking at it. Wow, that's a really good view. All right, it'll take me a minute to get that on. Well, there's a lot of scud in there, but it looks like it'd be rotating scud. With a rain shaft mixed in. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. It'd be a mess for me to get over there. You know, I would say that on that camera that we're likely looking at scud, but it certainly did show like it had rotation in it, and that's looking in the right location. What about this camera here? Oh yeah, get some good size hail there. Okay, you guys are gonna have to bear with me because these cameras are too good not to share, but it's gonna take me a little while to get there. So let me, and I have no choice but to do this live. And so you can find out how to get there as well. And we're going to go to here, here. Okay. So I was just looking at this one at, and I'll do 15 minutes here. So I believe that's hail on the ground there. And you can see more of it coming down. But this is the one, let's see, Bar Ranch. Yeah, Bar Ranch number 2. No, I want Bar Ranch number 1. Bar Ranch number 1. Okay, so this is the one I was looking at. I'm going to do a 15-minute time lapse on this. And what it looks like to me is that in here, you can clearly see that there's some rotation, but down in here, this looks like scud to me. In other words, the low clouds that are underneath the main cloud deck. And, every now and then it looks like there could be maybe a funnel in there, but I'm not seeing it. There's a rain shaft in there. Let's see what it looks like from Penn Valley. Let me do a time lapse on this. Oof. Now that looked interesting there. Man, this is wild. This is good stuff. Not sure. That doesn't look like it's a tornado there to me. Let's look at. I want this one here. Oh, that's never mind. Let's look at the other way. I'm trying to find some other angles on this. Payne's Peak. Yeah, good rain shafts in here. But I'm certainly not seeing anything that looks like a very well-defined funnel cloud or tornado at this point. All right, so let's go back to the radar. Man, this rotation is looking really well-defined. Again, the green indicates that the wind is coming at the radar. The red means it's going away from the radar. And while this couplet isn't as strong as it was, and it looks a little bit more ragged, there's still rotation going on in there. Let me just switch over to, let's see what am I trying to do here. 1, and I'm going to switch this to stern relative velocity. Okay, so we're just going to look at velocity, and I'm going to widen out just a little bit. And then I'm going to time lapse this, so you can see how this is developed. And so we're looking at this area right in here. And we'll go through it a couple of times as it loads up. And you can clearly see that area of red bordered by the area of green in here and kind of going straight up the river. And that's why we have this tornado warning up for another 8 minutes for the area bounded by this red polygon in here. Let me go back to this. All right, I'm just looking at comments as well. I appreciate everybody's comments and what you're seeing out there, because that, as I've said before, I mean, your comments and what you are seeing, you all can, see what you're seeing out your window and what's going on where you are, and that is very, very helpful. As I'm looking at this now, it looks as though this area of red is kind of arcing out ahead, I should say. So we may be seeing a little gust front that'll go through toward the Grass Valley, Nevada City area and this area right in here. That may be coming your way, the leading edge of this, as it heads toward up toward Newtown and past Rough and Ready. Yeah, yeah, I think toward Rough and Ready, Newtown, and then eventually toward the northern part of Grass Valley, and maybe eventually toward Nevada City, right here. Yeah, right in here. Yeah, it does look as though this, while we still have rotation in here, I wouldn't be surprised if they let this warning expire in 6 minutes. And this doesn't have the same sort of look to it that it had a little bit ago when we did get the warning initialized. It had more of a notched sort of pattern, and now it's kind of just looking like a regular old thunderstorm that maybe have a rotating base to it. So I'm not ready to give an all clear. You can give an all clear to the areas on the west side of this, I would believe. But for those of you around Grass Valley and to the north, still a heads up, this is a pretty dangerous storm. Let me widen out. Yeah, this cell that's near, that's east of Red Bluff, that's going to be a big time hailer. This is the tornado warning, and then farther to the south, these boxes are all special weather statements. But as you can see, we've had a good one go through the southern part of Sacramento County, now heading through Amador County. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. All those of you in Amador County, especially my friends in Sutter Creek and Amador City and Jackson. Yeah, up toward McCollum Hill, downpours coming your way, but then I wouldn't be surprised if there's some small hail embedded in that as well. And then there's this area that's going to be making its way into Calaveras County. So for those of you in Angels Camp, all of this is heading your way. And like I said, the atmosphere will continue to be ripe for these as we head through the rest of the afternoon, and probably all the way up till about 7 o'clock. But this tornado warning, okay, so what do they do here? So this new polygon is new. Oh, I clicked on the tornado warning. Let me click on this one. Special weather statement. So the special weather statement is likely going to supersede the tornado warning. Yeah. So winds up to 50, yep, and half-inch hail. Yeah, it's sad that something like that for Northern California doesn't indicate a severe thunderstorm warning. You have to have at least a radar indicated 1-inch hail to get a thunderstorm warning, but that doesn't. We don't often get that here. But as you can see here, they're still saying conditions are favorable for the development of weak, brief funnel clouds. This type of funnel cloud is harmless, but on rare occasions they can briefly touch down, producing wind gusts over 50 miles an hour. So that's what they're saying about this, and that's what will basically, that special weather statement will replace the tornado warning that will go away in 3 minutes. So that's another indication that this warning is going to go away. So for those of you that have had this EAS alert, it looks as though the Weather Service is not going to continue it, even though it still has another 3 minutes left in it. And there is still some rotation with it. As you can see here, we still have the area of red bordered by the area of green, but it's not as well defined as it was. So perhaps just a, just a rotating base that still has the potential to put out a funnel cloud, but it certainly does not have the same sort of intensity that we saw a little bit ago. I'm going to hang with this for just another couple of minutes, and just to make sure that tornado warning does go away. But I do think it will go away here shortly. I still plan on coming back live at 4 o'clock, but because we have this tornado warning, I wanted to hop on and give you guys the alert on that, because your phones went off or you heard it on the radio or something like that. So I did want to give you guys the opportunity to know what's going on and looking at the raw radar data. One other thing I'll tell you that's a little frustrating today is that, what I'm showing you here is off the Davis radar, but you'll notice that BBX here, it's in red. That means that it is there. I thought it was out of service. That's weird. Okay, so it is there. Good. So we'll have two different looks at this. Actually, now that I've got this, let me look at that. I thought the red was going to indicate that it was out. Let me look at this one just while we're here. Good sell here, and now I'm going to switch over to the intermediate classification, in other words, and let's see if this ever went to large hail, because this looked like it had some pretty a big return with it. Nope, these areas of red that you can see here, those spots of red, that indicates hail, and that's what we have in that area. So some pretty good hail going on. Let's go back to reflectivity, and we'll go back to our warned cell, and I'm just going to stay with this right here to see if this box goes away. It should go away any second now, because it's now 3:15, and there it goes. It just went away. So the tornado warning has expired. And but still, as you can see, this area is bounded by another polygon, but that is a special weather statement indicating that this cell still has the possibility of dropping a funnel cloud, but the tornado warning has expired. Okay, that's everything I've got for you for right now. I will be checking back in about 45 minutes. I'll go get myself prepared for that. Get some fluids, because we may go a while. Might even have some special guests. So I'll be back with another live coming up in about 45 minutes. But again, the headline here is that the tornado warning for the area that included Lake Wildwood and Grass Valley, Nevada City, that has expired. Stay tuned. I'll be back with you coming up in about 45 minutes.